You can do anything you set your mind to. But you have to start. If you don't create the change, then nothing will change. That is the part most people do not want to face. They want a different life. They want a different body. But they keep protecting the same habits that built the life they are tired of. They keep returning to the same excuses, the same distractions. And then they wonder why nothing is moving. They wonder why life feels heavy. But your life will not change while you keep giving attention to the same patterns that made you feel trapped. You cannot keep doing what you have always done and expect different outcomes. That is not how change works. Change begins when you stop waiting for life to become different and start becoming different yourself. You may be tired of your life, but the real question is whether you are tired enough to change it. Because many people are tired. Many people complain about where they are. But talking does not create change. Complaining is not movement. At some point, the words have to become action. At some point, the man who keeps saying he wants more has to start living like he means it. But starting is often the hardest part, because you are working against everything your mind and body want. But once you get momentum, each step becomes less forced. The first step destroys the illusion. As long as you have not started, you can still imagine yourself becoming great. You can still believe that someday you will turn everything around. But when you start, the fantasy has to face reality. And reality will show you where you are weak. It will show you where you lack discipline. It will show you where your old habits still hold you back. That is why people delay, not because they do not want change, but because change exposes them. It makes them responsible. It removes the comfort of pretending. And that is exactly why you need it. The first action does not have to be extreme. It does not have to be perfect. But the first step must be taken, no matter how hard it may be. One honest step. One hard choice. One promise kept. That is where momentum begins. And once momentum begins, something inside you starts to shift. Action creates evidence. Evidence becomes identity. And identity becomes the foundation of a different life. But none of that begins while you sit still. None of that begins while you keep asking for another sign. The sign is that you are still unhappy with where you are. The sign is that something inside you knows there is more. So stop asking for permission to leave it behind. Move. Begin. Change something. Because if you do not create the change, then nothing will change. But when you finally make this change, you must become aware of what will try and pull you back. Because change is not easy. Old habits and old people will come calling. And if you keep giving the past access to your present, it will keep pulling you back into the same life. That is why the change cannot be half-baked. You cannot keep one foot in the old life and expect to walk fully into the new one. At some point, you have to decide what version of you is allowed to continue. If you want to change, you must let go of the past and let the man be born. The past cannot go with you to where you are going. It may have helped you survive, but now it is holding you back. And if you want the life you keep imagining, the old identity cannot remain in command. The old version wants comfort. The new version needs discipline. The old version wants approval. The new version needs direction. That is the cost. You may lose people, and that can feel lonely. But loneliness is not always a sign you are wrong. Sometimes it is a sign that the old environment can no longer hold the new standard. Sometimes it is a sign that you are finally changing. The lonely chapter is harder in real life than it looks in stories. There is no music, no applause, no one coming to tell you how strong you are becoming. Just days, work, discomfort, silence, and the decision to keep showing up. That is where most people turn back, because they wanted the new life without paying the price of change. And you may think you have time to change, but time is moving faster than you realize. You do not have as much time as you think. But that does not mean you should panic. It just means you should stop pretending delay has no cost. Every day you wait, the old life becomes more familiar. Every day you wait, the excuses become easier to believe. Time does not stop while you prepare to change. Life does not wait while you decide whether you are ready. The years move either way. And one day, if you are not careful, you will look back and realize the life you wanted was not taken from you. You postponed it. You kept choosing comfort. You kept choosing the same habits and expecting a different result. That is why urgency matters. The understanding that your life is happening now. The understanding that waiting to begin never gets anyone anywhere. So go as fast as possible in the direction of the life you know you are supposed to build. Do it because you are done wasting years stuck in the same place. Once you know what you want, work only on moving closer towards that goal. Ask what kind of man that life requires. Ask what habits he has, what excuses he refuses, what comfort he has to sacrifice. Then begin removing what does not belong. And that is where brutal honesty becomes necessary. You have to look at yourself objectively, through truth, and ask whether you are the person you want to be. Because lying to yourself makes the journey longer, and you know the difference. You know when you are tired and need to recover, and you know when you are hiding from the work. You know when an activity moves you closer to your goal, and you know when it is stealing another day. That is why you have to ask this question often. Is this moving me closer, or is this pulling me back? Because everything in your life is either feeding the old version or strengthening the new one. Nothing is neutral for long. And if you're starting to get comfortable, you're probably standing still. Discomfort is necessary for growth. You cannot become stronger while avoiding every challenge life places in front of you. These must be overcome. Work may feel uncomfortable. Focus may feel lonely. Sacrifice may feel unfair. But that does not mean you should stop. It means you are adapting. Struggle is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. If you never do hard things, small obstacles will feel enormous. If you never push through discomfort, every inconvenience will feel like a reason to quit. But when you teach yourself to endure, life begins to lose some of its power to break you. You discover that tired does not mean finished. Afraid does not mean incapable. That is how the new version is built, through the repeated proof that you can keep going when comfort is gone. And as long as you're consistent, you will change. You cannot lose if you refuse to quit. Because quitting is the only way the old version wins completely. If you fail and learn, you are still moving. And the man who refuses to quit keeps collecting lessons. He keeps collecting proof. And proof changes everything. It teaches the mind that the old limits were not final. It teaches the body that discomfort can be carried. It teaches the spirit that one bad day does not own the whole story. Most of life is showing up, not perfectly, but consistently, again and again, until the life that once felt impossible becomes the result of repeated, ordinary decisions. Small changes over a long period can take you to a completely different destination, but only if you keep making them. You have to give yourself permission to try. Give yourself permission to lose while you are learning. And ignore the opinion of people who are not busy chasing their goals. Because if you keep living for the permission of ordinary people, you will keep inheriting ordinary limits. Do not tell big dreams to small-minded people and then act surprised when they try to shrink them. Some people will just not understand. Some people will call your focus obsession. Some people will think something is wrong with you because you no longer want the same distractions. Let them think. You might as well be disliked for being yourself, because being loved for someone you are not is just another kind of prison. And you are not changing your life so you can remain trapped in a different way. You are changing because there is a version of you that has been waiting for you to stop apologizing for wanting more. There is a life you know you are supposed to be living. And the distance between that life and your current one is not closed by explanation. It is closed by work, by urgency, by sacrifice, by the repeated refusal to quit. For every excuse you have, someone has succeeded with worse conditions. That may be hard to hear, but it is also freedom. Because it means your conditions are not the final chapter. Your lack of resources are not the limiting factor. Your action is. Your consistency is. When you realize your current baseline is not worth protecting, the risk becomes different. You stop guarding the cage. You stop acting like the familiar pain is safer than the uncertain path out. And that is when a man begins to move differently. He takes more shots. He learns faster. He understands that action separates people who dream from people who build. Because most people talk more than they act. They explain, they announce, they prepare. But the man who changes is the man who does. So do something. Do the first thing. Make the first change. Cut the first habit. Take the first uncomfortable step. Then take another, and another. Because once you begin, the old life starts losing its authority. It may not happen all at once, but every real action is a vote against the version of you that wanted to stay the same. Every disciplined choice takes you further from the man you once were and closer to the man you want to be. That is how change happens. By acting differently until you become different. And one day, if you stay with it, the life you used to tolerate will no longer recognize you. The habits that owned you will lose their grip. The excuses that comforted you will sound weak. And the man in the mirror will finally begin to look like someone you respect. That is the reward, not just the goal. The man you become while chasing it. You can do anything you set your mind to. But you have to start. If you don't create the change, then nothing will change. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop protecting the habits that hurt you. Let go of the old self and let the man be born. Let the old excuses die. And then move. With urgency. With discipline. With the quiet certainty that your life will not change until you do. The path will be uncomfortable, but walk it anyway. The chapter may be lonely, but you must endure. The beginning may be ugly, but start anyway. Because if you are alive, you can still change. If you are breathing, you can still improve your situation. But it begins with you. Your action, your urgency, your willingness to let go of the habits of old. Because if you do not change, nothing will. But if you do, anything is possible.